After my last update, it's been quite a while I haven't uploaded any video, especially about the update of the God of War fan-made game project, where I promised to create a God of War game that is based on Hindu mythology. So this video is going to be a summary of the project. I've tried to fetch every possible clips of the game from beginning phase to the latest build. With that, I'll be sharing a couple of really interesting ideas that I've learned so far. Very less developers are informed about what I'm going to say today. One would be how I figured out a new method of texturing huge objects that is both highly optimized with fast performance and portrays the best quality with less size. The next one would be explained during the video with examples. It's about different coding patterns, especially how you code and organize something that has many different states, actions, and behaviors. These methods are also being used by big games and are a crucial skill to have. Stay tuned, let's have a quick intro. Hello everybody, welcome. This is Game Factory. Just in case you don't know what I'm talking about, I started a fan-made side project where I attempt to create God of War based in Hindu mythology from scratch, which could be my learning curve as well as a kind of exploration or challenge of taking my skills to next level. It's been around 7 to 8 months of development progress. There are a couple of videos before this where I talk about many different stuff and development updates. You can check those out, but in this one, let's go through some latest improvements on my game. But quickly, thank you to all those new friends who joined the Game Factory. If you like to be part of our bright community, show your love and support by subscribing the channel and earn the access to the videos and assets that I provide. I would say the game has been completed almost 75%, that is with all the characters, environment, 3D art, assets, animations, renderings, programs running in the background, and much more going on to this. It's already a playable game where you can travel through an island and battle deadly Agori enemies that we created. There are a couple of actions that our character can perform, like jogging, running, attacking, smashing the ground, dashing, object pushing, stepping over health and defense herbs, and solving puzzles. I've modeled and designed some particular locations within the terrain that have their specific purpose. Like this one where you will be encountering a puzzle. I've already made a video on this, the link would be in the description. Or this one where you encounter your final battle. New asset files were created and still being made in Blender, which I specially designed for this game. Animations for the anime character are from Mixamo, except that every animations for the Kratos himself are self-made in Blender. It took me around a month to complete all these animations, and let's not talk about how I had to remake every animation just due to not being aware of functionalities of general rig. Normally in humanoid rig, it can calculate the root motion for your animation without having to animate the root bone, but in case of general rig, it does not. Or maybe I missed something. It may be in future, but not in current version of Unity. One problem was that, and the other one was because I wanted to remake the animations in much better way and improve upon my mistakes on the first one. Some of the asset files like this rock pack, grass and trees are free assets that you can get from Unity's asset store. These are also free textures downloaded from the internet. Likewise, sound effects are also gathered from different sites and slightly edited to match the game. I would say there are still lots of things left to improve for the audio feedback. With all these things together, I managed to build this game where it stands right now. It's not complete, but will be soon. And I'll be letting you guys playtest the game after it has been completed. The really important thing, the story is also already prepared for this small game. It has been designed to work only for this gameplay and will not impact or add up any unwanted issues to the original game or its character. It's just a simple project by a random fan of the game. Please don't get offended by this. If you think I'm copying the game or trying to create additional stories, that's not true. I'm putting my efforts into this to show my love for the game. Because one of the reasons why I started to make games was by getting inspired by the God of War and the adventures it provided. Let's talk about something interesting. We have enemy character in our game that has its own personality and design. It has got different states: jog, sprint, strafe, many variations of attack, sound effects, and blend shapes with different expressions, as well as the body parts, allowing random structure generation. It runs under a well-programmed AI that manages and handles all these activities of the character. With that, I also added a system that can point towards the enemy if it is behind the player and not within the camera view, somewhere similar of God of War, but not that advanced. I'll improve upon it. But with all these things, we are still missing some critical implementation. That is, of course, you may have guessed, a boss battle. I made a plan to create a boss fight in the game, because without a big battle, I thought the game would be empty. Don't know why, but just to increase the complexity and delivery time, I made up my mind to keep it unique and had to be made from scratch. Starting with the concept and its background story, sculpting a high-poly 3D model, retopology, baking and painting PBR textures, rigging, creating animations, and putting all those things together to bring it in Unity. It does not end here. I composed everything together. We write a program that handles the creature's behavior and make it act according to plan. I created a new project and brought my character from Sabirgog to test and program the algorithm for the creature before taking it to the original project. Recently, I've added a couple of attacks to the worm. Stretch attack, a rapid projectile shooting, vomit projectile, a leaf splat on the ground which affects the player health, and shooting towards the sky to make the projectile drop at the location of the player. I'm adding a couple of new attacks like laser shooting, raining acids, whatever I can manage to get. The process of creating the projectile is the same as the process of creating the worm, but easier. And the splats that you see here are made by using a couple of noise nodes and a few tricks in Cetagraph. By the way, I'm using the Unity's decal system to project this acidic material, or whatever it is called, maybe liquid on the floor. And also important indicator to add to the boss is its health status. So I designed and implemented simple looking health bar using Photoshop. The attack types that the worm performs are very random. I thought of keeping it random for fun and unexpected encounters. Even the basic ones, when the worm shoots the projectiles, it shoots at some random rate between 1 to 5, 7 or 10 depending on what type of attack it is performing. The algorithm also calculates the next possible position of the player. If the player keeps on moving in the same direction, he may or may not get hit. It's not like it keeps on shooting at the recent position of the character. The creature can predict the next position of the character and then perform its attack. More on this would be in a separate video. To keep all these actions together, I have to build a very strong and flexible program that controls each and every behaviors of the character in a very organized manner, and also holds the potential to get expanded when needed. That means if I wanted to add different attacks and states to the boss, I don't want to keep on adding codes in the same program, which would make the work very difficult when the size of the code increases at a rapid rate. Keeping that as a main idea, let me introduce you to coding patterns. There are many different coding patterns that you can use. These patterns will provide a standardized and efficient way to solve common programming problems, facilitating the work of high-quality games. The one you may be familiar with can be a singleton pattern, which ensures a single instance of the object and provides global access. The pattern that I'm using to monitor all the behaviors of the worm is known as state machine pattern. Friend example would be the Unity's built-in animated controller. Like the controller, this pattern works and manages different states of an object. There are many different handy patterns. As a developer, you must learn or at least have an idea about these styles of coding. I've mentioned a couple of them in the description. For Sabirgog, I built my own pattern to manage and play different audios. Till I've been using the same method for different projects. This pattern stores all related audio data inside a database, which allows me to play an audio just by calling a simple method without having to assign any audio source or audio in the script. It can play any specific or random audio out of an array. Some audio can be reused from different scripts. For example, you may have different footstep audios for the character, and you may want to use the same for the enemy. With this system, you don't have to assign audios to both characters. This can come handy when there are many variations of footsteps, like step on concrete, grass, mud, wood, etc. There would be lots of other cases where you may want a single database to access effects from. This method also plays audio at provided position, changes volume and pitch at per given values, and many more with just a single line of code. Let me know in comments if you'd like to have a tutorial on this. The level designing was done immediately after the rigging part, but in this video I've shown you the level design after giving you details on the other part of the game. So the level designing part, at first I took the measurement for level and built a simple block out for the battle arena. After the measurement, I started to make good looking, or at least bearable 3D models for the gate and floor. Modeling the landscape was easy because I just generated it in Blender with some few clicks. Why not use terrain in Unity and why create in Blender? Like I told you at the start of the video about new texturing method, with this one I was exploring a technique that would allow me to optimize my texturing process for game objects. Simply, the method is painting the red, green, blue and alpha maps over the model, and by using custom shaders, replacing those colors with appropriate textures. If you painted terrain in Unity, it also uses similar method, but even better with multiple color range. But the problem is you can't use it in any other game object except terrain. During the process of creating this level for my game, I realized that even 8K texture was not enough to paint a good quality texture over this big hole. You may watch the video, I'll provide the link in the description. There are several different methods for texturing 3D objects, like bitmap textures, procedural textures, trim textures, and the textures that are created by overlapping UVs, etc. But in my case, I used a method that converts RGB value to assigned texture. Well, RGB and Alpha 2. I come to know about this idea from one of the videos of Blender Guru, where he teaches about creating an abundant house. I thank him for all his contribution to education that he shares with us. As soon as I realized after that video that I could bring that into the game, I started the process to figure out a way to do it in Unity. Plus, I also created a shader that takes vertex paint instead of RGB texture. I used the polybrush tool to paint vertex color in Unity, drop the material and get the magic happening. Then what is being brewed in the background? How is this thing working? The red, green, blue and alpha channels are working like a value 0 to 1 that controls the opacity of assigned texture at specific points on the object. The shader prints the texture as per the value given. It's an easy process to create this sort of shader. You can try it yourself, but if you like me to create a tutorial or detailed video about it, just let me know in the comment section. And these all things I mentioned here are just surface level information about my project. I haven't mentioned any in-depth underneath procedure because it would be a boring hour-long video. Take this as a summary and also an educational form where you may get introduced to something fresh. I hope you enjoyed the video and grasped the idea from this illustration. I'll keep up the work to improve on making this sort of content, share my project, share different development, exercise and ideas for you in this channel. The only thing I ask for is your support, which is really important. It'll just take a few seconds right now. Please let me know by hitting the subscribe button, leave a like, also turn on the bell icon to get notified whenever I release a new video. Thank you for watching, goodbye, take care, see you at the next one.